Hi everyone, Patrick here. Welcome to another episode of SFF Spotlight, and today's it will be episode number 84. And well, not gonna lie, we have a lot of topics to cover today. There will be about, I think, 20 topics to cover. So let's get started immediately. If this is the first time you're watching SFF Spotlight, this is a series of videos where I talk about new book news, cover reveals, Kickstarter campaign, and special edition, plus noteworthy release. And for today's video, I want to start by mentioning one noteworthy release, and this is related to today's sponsor, today's SFF Spotlight sponsor, and I want to say thank you so much to Podium Entertainment. Today, I'm partnering with Podium Entertainment to let you know that the audiobook for the fifth novel in the Arcane Ascension series by Andrew Rowe is available now. The title of this book is When Wizards Follow Fools. Summoned to the Emerald Council as war looms, Korean Kaden must navigate a deadly political landscape where trust is scarce, enemies lurk, and Valia's fate hangs in the balance. Surrounded by old enemies, tenuous allies, and strangers with their own agendas, Korean will need to leverage every skill he has learned to help salvage his nation's fate. And this audiobook will include a sneak peek in both PDF and audio of Age of the Woods, book 1 of the Lost Age series set within the Arcane Ascension universe and available now in ebook, print, and audio. For those of you who don't know, this series, Arcane Ascension, begins with Sufficiently Advanced Magic. When I read Sufficiently Advanced Magic for SPF BO competition many years ago, this was the book that made me realize for the first time that self-published fantasy books can be awesome. The series consists of Sufficiently Advanced Magic, On the Shoulder of Titans, The Torch That Ignites the Stars, The Silence of Unworthy Gods, and then the fifth novel, When Wizards Follow Fools. And the audiobook is available now. If you love progression fantasy, lit RPG, or maybe you are already a fan of the series, the audiobook of When Wizards Follow Fools is available now, and the sixth book, A Brief History of Chronomancy, will be out this July as well. Thank you so much to Podium Entertainment for sponsoring today's video. And now let's talk about new book news. For the first one, this is not actually a new book news, I guess, but this is about Terry Brooks and his retirement from the Shannara series. Terry Brooks has announced that he is, starting from now, all the next books in the Shannara series will be written by Delilah Dawson. But Robin Hobb has mentioned in her Facebook post that this does not mean that Terry Brooks is retiring from writing. That is not the case. Terry Brooks is retiring from Shannara, but he is not retiring from writing books. At least that's what I get from Robin Hobb's post on her Facebook post. And I think that needs to be clarified, because I think I'm starting to see so many people saying that Terry Brooks has stopped writing anything. And I don't think based on this, that is the case. But although I haven't read the Shannara series, I think there is no doubt that this is one of the most important fantasy series. I think in one occasion, I believe this series actually rejuvenate people's interest in reading the fantasy genre as well. And yeah, there are so many books in the Shannara series. If you have read this series, do let me know what you think about this Shannara series. Have you finished reading all of them as well? But moving on to the next topic, this is regarding the new books by Kristoff. Kristoff has announced that he is signing a 7-figure deal with Harper Voyager for his next trilogy. It has been pitched as Suicide Squad meets a Game of Thrones. And yeah, that sounds awesome. And then not only that, there is also one more standalone novel that it's supposed to be ageless standalone epic fantasy novel. So yeah, this means after the conclusion of Empire of the Vampire trilogy this year, we will still be getting a lot of books from Kristoff. For me, I think that sounds awesome, and I have read the Nevernight trilogy, loved it, and I also enjoyed reading Empire of the Vampire. I definitely will read all the remaining books, Empire of the Dam and also Empire of the Dawn. Well, all the remaining books in the Empire of the Vampire trilogy, fingers crossed within this year as well. But moving on to the next topic, this is for a gorgeous cover reveal of a new book. The title is Among the Burning Flowers by Samantha Shannon. This is kind of like a standalone sequel to A Day of Fallen Night, but it is also a prequel to The Priory of the Orange Tree. And the cover art is once again illustrated by Ivan Belikov, but this time, I think this is for the first time ever in the series, it will include interior illustrations by the incredible Rovina Cai. This, I believe, this book, Among the Burning Flowers, will also be the shortest book in the series so far, because Priory of the Orange Tree and also A Day of Fallen Night, both of them actually reach, I believe, 800 pages long. This one, I think it will be about 200 up to 300 pages long. So yeah, this is kind of like a bridge novel, I guess, between A Day of Fallen Night and also A Priory of the Orange Tree. I haven't read this series yet, for those of you who ask, but I heard mostly great things about A Day of Fallen Night more than A Priory of the Orange Tree. And this book will be available within this year, just like the next book I'll be talking about, and this is for the Infernus Gate by Anthony Ryan. This is the 7th and the final book in the 7 Sword series by Anthony Ryan. I have only read the first book, but this is basically a series of 7 novellas. I have read, as I said, only the first book. It was a very quest-based fantasy novel. Oh, sorry, a quest-based fantasy novella. It is not a novel. Each book in the series is pretty short, and you can probably read this in 1 or 2 days. But yeah, the first book was enjoyable enough. I think I will give the series a try again. But yeah, the cover art, just like all the previous books in the 7 Sword series, they are all illustrated by Didier Graffet. And after that, this is another conclusion to a series. This is for Heart of the Wyrdwood by R.J. Barker. So this book will conclude the newest trilogy by R.J. Barker. When it comes to R.J. Barker, based on my experience with reading the Wounded Kingdom trilogy and also the Bone Ship trilogy, the Tide Child trilogy, well, there's a really good chance that the final book will be the best of the trilogy. R.J. Barker knows how to write a satisfying conclusion, and I look forward to reading this trilogy for the first time. Because again, I can only speak based on my experience. When I'm reading R.J. Barker's novels, I think it's better to have all the books available to read rather than wait 1 book per year. I think I prefer it that way. And now, this book soon will be available to read. And the cover art is, again, I think it is done by Duncan Spilling. On the self-published fantasy side, we have 2 cover art to spotlight today. And the first one is for The Dark Prophet by Wick Welker. This is the sequel to The Dark Theory. So this is technically the 2nd book in the Dark Law series, even though there is already a novella, a bridge novella between Dark Prophecy and also Dark Prophet. I have read the first book. I think it is such a great blend of hard science fiction and also epic fantasy. I certainly will read more books by Wick Welker, and hopefully this one, The Dark Prophet, will be even better than The Dark Prophecy. But as I said, I really enjoyed the first book. If you're curious regarding my thoughts about the book, well, as usual, I already have posted a full spoiler review of Dark Prophecy on my Goodreads and also on my Novel Notions blog. And for the final new book I want to spotlight, this is regarding Toothsucker by Kaden Love, with the cover art done by Simona Love. And this one has been pitched as age runners with zombies or vampires that actually eat teeth. So yeah, I have no idea what the book is about beyond that, but yeah, if you want to read this book now, well, some of the chapters are already available to read for free on Royal Road, so you can give it a try. But that's it for the new book news stuff. Now let's talk about Kickstarter campaign. I have 3 Kickstarter campaigns to spotlight. All 3 haven't started yet, so if you're interested in any of them, make sure to, well, as usual, click the notify me in the Kickstarter pages. For the first one, of course, I have to spotlight this. This is for Blood Over Brighthaven by M.L. Wang, the Wraithmarked edition. And yeah, the Kickstarter campaign for this one will go live in the month of April, early April. So that's about 2 weeks from now. The cover art is done by Sid Mills. We have seen the cover art, and also Wraithmarked just revealed the end paper as well, the gorgeous end paper. I have no doubt that this will be the back and paper of Blood Over Brighthaven. So yeah, I certainly look forward to the launching of this Kickstarter campaign. And for the next one, this is for the Tapestry of Fate series by Matt Larkin. This one, I think this Kickstarter campaign will go live this week. So yeah, it's really soon, but this is for Matt Larkin's Greek-inspired epic fantasy series, Greek mythology epic fantasy series. He has released the Ragnarok Prophecy, which is the Norse mythology stuff. This is the Greek-inspired stuff. So yeah, I haven't read anything by Matt Larkin yet, but I'm a big fan of Norse mythology and also Greek mythology. So I think it's only a matter of time before I tackle the Ragnarok prophecy or the Tapestry of Fate. But the cover art for this one is done by Rachel St. Clair. And Rachel St. Clair is also responsible for the typography and edges for this next book that I will be talking about. This Kickstarter campaign is for Fae the Wild Hunt 10th Anniversary Edition by Graham Austin King. This is a complete trilogy where the mythologized Fae return to a world which has forgotten them, and as the barriers protecting the world of Haven begin to falter, Beyond Man raiders abandon coastal plunder for outright conquest. The cover to this one is done by Thomas Jesdruzek, and I think this Kickstarter campaign will start about a week from now. So yeah, not long from now. I will try to mention it again in my SFF Spotlight in the next episode of SFF Spotlight. But that's it on the coverage of Kickstarter campaign in today's episode. Now let's talk about special editions. Let's begin from the high-end edition first. Of course, I'm going to spotlight The Last Argument of Kings by Joe Abercrombie, the Curious King edition. I think this one, the general sale, will actually happen today if there are still some stocks, which I don't think will happen. But this time, the cover art is done by Gregory Manches, the legendary epic fantasy painter Gregory Manches. The first book, it was illustrated by Tommy Arnold. The second book is by Vance Kovacs. And now the final book in the First Law trilogy is illustrated by Gregory Manches. And all the art direction, I think they are so on point and matching to each other. From Logan Nine Fingers, or the Bloody Nine, and then Sandan Glokta, and finally Jezal Dan Luthar on the cover art. So yeah, looking forward to this one. To me, it feels like a dream that I can finally own a high-end fine press edition of the First Law trilogy. I always felt that it was impossible, but Curious King has practically fulfilled that dream for me. But yeah, make sure to check out the page if there are still some stocks. Again, I do not think it will happen because this is one of the most coveted special edition from Curious King. But well done and bravo to Curious King for completing their first ever trilogy in their publication. And then after that, from Grim Oak Press, we have Valor by John Gwynne. This one, the cover art is done by Marcus Sweeney, and I believe, well, we know who the character is because there's the Drake, that's Natyr in the cover art. And then the pre-order date for this one will take place in July 2025. I own a copy of Malice, so I definitely will get a copy of this one as well. I'm a big fan. If you are not new to my content, my YouTube channel or Goodreads, then you will know that I'm a die-hard fan of the Banished Land Saga, the Faithful and the Fallen, and of Blood and Bone trilogy. Especially the Faithful and the Fallen, actually, because the characters here, they are so precious to me. They feel like real people that I know. I have read this series, I think twice or three times now, and I definitely will read it again in the future. And yeah, this one, for those of you who got a copy of Malice Grim Oak Press edition, you will have early access to buy Valor Grim Oak Press edition. And as far as cover art goes, I think this is a much superior cover art compared to Malice. And for the next three, we have the Broken Binding edition. The first one is for Kingdoms of Death by Christopher Rocchio. The art has been revealed. Again, I work on this one together with Christopher Rocchio. And this is for the board art of Kingdoms of Death, illustrated by Peng Liu. Really love how this one turns out. And yeah, I think starting from now, the Broken Binding will start revealing the artwork being done for the second set of the Sun Eater, the Broken Binding edition. That's for Kingdoms of Death and also the Ashes of Men. And I hope many of you will like it. And for the next one, this is for Of Darkness and Light and the Broken Binding Press edition. This is from Ryan Cahill. And again, this is another project that I got to work on together with Ryan Cahill. This is one of the biggest projects that I ever worked on because I wrote like 18 about that number, 18 art brief for this one book alone. This book is packed with illustrations from the cover art, the map and paper, the gorgeous foil from Katrina Paints, and then the many interior illustrations from Felix Ortiz, Rene Eichner, and then Randy Vargas, Joe Requeza, and also Sutiwa Deja Kampu. So yeah, it is packed with illustrations, and I hope many of you who who's able to buy a copy of this one. I hope many of you will like it. I personally cannot wait to get a copy of this one. I want to own it in my bookshelf. And for those of you who ask, yes, I will be reading and reviewing of Empires and Dust on my YouTube channel as soon as possible. And finally, for the last broken binding stuff, this is for the next announcement for their next fantasy subscription. This is for the Riftwar saga by Raymond Evice. And then the cover art is done by Jeff Brown. The board art is done by Martin Botet, and then the end paper, it is done by Christopher Chent and also Mansik Young. And finally, the interior illustration, it is done by Alan Morris. Personally, for me, I love the first book the most out of the trilogy. I think Silverthorn and also A Darkness at Satanon were good, but they are not as amazing as Magician. But if I have to be honest and compare, my favorite is still the Riftwar Empire trilogy by Raymond Evice and also Johnny Wirtz. I think that's the best series, one of the best trilogy that I have read. Really, such an incredible political intrigue and amazing characters, amazing world. And I can recommend that with the highest recommendation. And then for the last two special edition I want to spotlight today, the first one is for the new edition of Legends and Lattes and Bookshop and Bone Dust by Travis Baldry, but this is the Owl Crate edition. I think Owl Crate did such a great job with this edition. I saw the list of artists working on this edition of Legends and Lattes and Bookshops and Bone Dust, and I am genuinely impressed, from Andreas Rokas on the cover art, and then many other incredible artists on the interior artwork, such as Dominic Mayer. And I think that is so awesome. I cannot wait to see how this one turns out. And finally, for the last special edition, this is not actually a special edition, but this is just an anniversary edition announcement from Adrian Gibson on Mushroom Blues. Starting from now, every edition of Mushroom Blues, whether it's the hardcover, the paperback, or the ebook, it will contain new interior illustrations by Robert Chotea and also new foreword by Nicholas Eames. I had the pleasure of meeting Adrian Gibson when I was at WorldCon last year, and I haven't read Mushroom Blues yet. I heard a lot of great things about this book though, and I look forward to reading this one as soon as I can, hopefully within this year as well. And finally, for the last two news that I want to spotlight, these are not special editions. These are anime announcements that I'm excited about. The first one is All You Need Is Kill. And some of you might know about this one from the Age of Tomorrow movie adaptation starring Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt. Yeah, that movie is adapted from All You Need Is Kill novels. But this time, this is being adapted into anime. So obviously I will watch this one as well. And finally, the last news of today's episode, it will be about Gachiakuta anime adaptation. I haven't read this manga yet. I have heard about this one plenty of times, but I haven't looked into it. But after I saw the teaser, well, I certainly have to read or watch this anime because it sounds so good. The premise sounds awesome and the anime looks amazing. So this is on my radar now. If you have read Gachiakuta, let me know what you think about it. So yeah, that's pretty much it for today's episode of SFF Spotlight. That's about 20 topics. And I want to say thank you so much to all of you who watches my YouTube channel and who watches my SFF Spotlight. I know that my content lately seems to revolve around SFF Spotlight, but that's only because I'm in the middle of a slump right now. Hopefully, this will be cured within this month, and then I can start posting more reviews and recommendations. Again, I feel like because I have finished reading Crossroads of Twilight, I feel like this slump is starting to go away, and hopefully that will truly be the case. But anyway, do let me know what you think about all the news that I spotlighted in the comment section down below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for your support. Bye bye. Lastly, I want to say thank you so much once again to all my patrons who keep on supporting me.